You can see the progress in here. You look back in there and you can see over on the west side where I've dropped trees. You can see a lot of dead vegetation. And turn this way, east side, you can see trees down over there. There's a tree leaning that didn't go down. And this is where we dropped that forked cherry bark and hackberry last week. You can see that hackberry laying there across that walnut. So I came in here this morning and that hole right there had this cherry bark in it. So that one becomes a crop tree. And there was a forked one right there where the saw is. A forked one between this one and that one. And that one forks about a log up. Don't like that, but you know, spacing got me here. And if we move from that forked one right, you can see a dead cherry bark right behind that cedar tree there. And you see it's not quite 6 inches, it's about 5 inches diameter. I want you to look what happens when they get overtopped. I've been talking about dominance, codominance, intermediate, suppressed, or overtopped and suppressed. That's what happens when a red oak gets overtopped. You can see that tree just up and died. It got overtopped, it couldn't handle the competition. So it thinned itself. And so now I've got that one for a crop tree. And the one back there, that one with a big fork, I don't like it, but it became a crop tree by virtue of its spacing. It's a little over a log up, you know, over 16 feet up. I don't like the form, but you know, the spacing forces it here. Now this near one, right in the center, it's got space, but it's up against the next one. These are basically a 10-foot spacing in here. So I'm right from the middle. I move that next one to the middle, and it forks. So then the one beyond it is nice and straight. You see it forks up there another 10 feet higher. So going on the combination of spacing and form, that one is going to go next. I'm getting a whole pile of trees right in here, and I will be dropping that one in this same spot. And I'm just south of that darn tree stand in my way, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to climb up there and loosen it up and take it out. That tree stand is really inhibiting my work in that one spot in there. So anyway, that forked one right there goes next, and there a forked one gets to remain by virtue of its spacing. Oh well. Back to work. And there you see that forked one is down. I blew it right through that opening in there. Left a nice black walnut over there. There's a pretty decent catalpa back there. Looks like a single stem, straight. Not usually one we think of as a saw log, but they can make a nice tree. And you know, I like them for wildlife benefit. So if I find a good one, I'm not afraid to leave it. So now we got some room freed up there. And I turn around here and look. And what have I got? I've got a forked one right there. There's a forked one right there in between 4 other trees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got one right in the middle of 4 trees. I can knock him down and get a lot of space here. So I think I'll go ahead and get him. And it should blow right through there. I'm going to aim it right between those 2 crowns overhead here. Okay, you're next. Well, I came up here to the one I was planting and saw another one in between. So you see a stump up there. I dropped another one that was in between. These cherry barks are going to have plenty of headroom. So here I'm back at the forked one we were talking about. I've got it all set up. I got my face cut, bored out half of the back, stuck a wedge in, half of the other, or took out the other side, and we're launching it right down here between these rows. So let's go here. There she goes. Let's go. There we go. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. And we're getting closer to my one with the deer stand. Yeah, there's some more choices in here. I figured on working the south end, but I got in here and there's just so much to do here, I decided to work right where I was. Okay, put the camera away and back to work. Now we got another wait a minute tree here. It's a cherry bark hung up there. It keeps making noise. And there she goes. Ah, isn't that wonderful? It was stuck. I got in there and thinned the hinge down and it started moving. Okay, that's great. And we got another one right here that's hung up. It's not coming down, man. I pushed on it, but you know, a good wind and it'll shake loose. I don't camp out here, so I think we're good. Okay, back to work. I still got gas in that saw. Well, I worked up the nerve to climb that stand and look at it up there, and I'll throw a picture in there I took. I'll pause here. There we go. We'll pause it right there and stick a picture in. That tree is just, it's grown around, almost, it's ready to go around that steel up there. It's really amazing how much that has grown into that tree, or a tree has grown into that stand. So I took a picture of it and sent it to the guy who owns it and said, hey, I'm going to have to get out here and take that stand down. I really like that tree. I don't know if it'll recover from that or not. It'll be a good experiment. I'm going to keep that one and see what it'll do. But his ratchets are on the back side of that tree. I don't know. He must have long arms. I don't know how he did it. I'll have to put a ladder up on the back side, get up there and unstrap it. And it's the ladder is up so steep you feel like you're going to fall over backwards going up. That's not good. So I'll drag a ladder in here and get that down after I'm done with my thinning. So got this spot about done. You know, taken out several. There's a little white oak in there I need to get out. There's a forked cherry in there. I need there's 3 cherries I see in there to knock out. One of them's forked. They're taking up some room. Here's a white oak that forks about 3 feet off the ground. Gonna knock him down. And let's see, there was a persimmon. Yeah, there's a persimmon there. I've got a nice walnut right there. He's kind of a leaner, but a decent walnut. He's got a persimmon over him, but he's free on 3 sides. So I'm thinking I've got a darn volunteer sweet gum there, double stem. Don't much care for sweet gum, but he's not really hurting anything but the persimmon. So there's not much point in cutting him. Back behind that forked sweet gum, I got 2 more nice cherry barks, but they're not up against the sweet gum. No need to cut it. Got a real nice walnut here. It's going out around that cherry bark right there. You can see it goes up at curves to get away from that cherry bark. And then I've got a little cherry out there. Okay, pretty light work to finish up this little spot right here. So I think I'm going to put this away and finish up and go in and cool off. Well, I'm finishing up on spacing in this spot. I put a lot of sunlight in, kept some good trees, and I was having real trouble here, but I picked a bad tree over in there, got rid of it, well, lesser tree, keeping the best trees. I've thought about that one because it has a bad branch angle there, but it's actually buried in a treetop. I couldn't get to it without a major amount of work. And I've got another good one right here, another good one there, another good one right there. And so this one was easy to get to, and so I've got her set up to go. There she goes right now. There she goes. Wow. Yeah, that was some kind of wonderful there. Okay, I think I am going to break. The saw was still running, but it's got to be getting low. It's been a couple hours since I started. This 550, I'm running the 550 today. I've been running the 272 because the 550's primer bulb had broken. We got to the saw shop yesterday and got a new primer bulb, put it on there. The 550 will hot start. That 272 for some reason got where it didn't want a hot start on me. And pulling that starter rope multiple times gets tiring. So anyway, little 550, it's a good little saw, hot running little baby, and you don't have to tune the carburetor. It's got a self-tuning carburetor. Okay, so this little spot is done, and that ties the east side to the west side here. And up on the north end, I've got a little bit, as I head toward the corn crib up there, I've got some more to do. And I've got to tie the east side and west side together south of me here. But anyway, I've made a nice little bunch of progress in here today. And of course there's always, you can always cut one more, but I'm going to let this, you know, I've opened up, put a lot of sunlight in, I'm going to let this sit. Give her a couple of years to start recovering. You can always come back and touch up. And one of the best places I saw was, well, it was a white oak stand, primarily white oak. White oak, hickory, black oak, and red oak. But the guy who owned that, he never did a big TSI job. He'd just peck away at it. He'd go out, he'd find a tree that he thought needed a little help, and he'd get rid of something that wasn't quite as good, and pecked away at it, and he ended up with the best looking white oak stand you ever saw, just by pecking away. Did that over a period of many years. Okay, that's enough for right now. See y'all later.